what the backstory is quickly, and then who we are going to play in terms of the role we play.
Yeah, no problem. So you're a developer company like Brookfield Asset Management Group, and you own about 56 commercial and residential buildings, and you're taking on 5 new building projects. So you're shopping for window and glass roof options. Our team has been in touch with your technical department, and we've visited the building sites and deemed 2 of your out of the 5 of your buildings as excellent candidates for the application of our product.
Excellent. So we are senior managers at Brookfield.
Yeah, senior managers.
And have you crossed our desk at all, or is this completely cold? Have we seen figures? Have we been briefed by our staff? I'd just like to know how much I know.
That's a good question.
That's why I asked.
I think yes, you have been briefed by your technical staff.
Easy. That's a good answer.
Like a good background of the product.
Yep. Okay. So Trevor, let's pretend that you're the VP of engineering and I'm the VP of construction or something like that. How's that?
Sounds good.
So we're interested, and thank you so much. I'll let you turn into role-playing mode right now. I think we're ready, and thank you so much for coming in. So why don't you guys take it away?
Yep. Thank you. So my name is Mu'min, and my team and I here are representing Silicon Masters, and we'll be presenting you our product offering today. So these are the people that are with us today. We are like-minded professionals who are highly motivated towards renewable resources of energy. We have our product manager, Muhammad, our marketing manager, Hind, finance manager, Osama, and Yelkan is our technical manager. So yeah, that's what we do as part of our integrated set of expertise that are necessary to deliver a high quality product. We've got the people here who researched and developed the technology and proved it out, and got strong customer ratings. And we also have the people who figured out how to get this to the marketplace and solve production problems. So picture having the windows or roofs of your buildings and homes generating electricity for you. Well, this can now be a reality. The product that we're going to offer today uses sunlight to generate electricity. And unlike regular solar panels, we are able to achieve transparent glass like solar cells, which can fit on any exterior glass surface. In the upcoming slides, you will see the product details and some examples of its application. We're also lucky that we have the head of our technical team here with us, and he will give a little background about the technology behind our product. And towards the end of our presentation, we'll go over the key takeaways that are relevant to you, and along with our recommendations. So I'll now pass it on to Muhammad to give more details about our solar glass product.
Thank you, Momin. Solar glass is a revolutionary product that produces green energy and could be easily integrated within any building design. Solar glass generates electricity that normally what other traditional solar panels do. However, the difference is that it could be built into the structure of the building and no need to add on the top of the building. There are similar products in the market, but solar glass is the only product available today that is 85% transparent. And thanks to our patent technology for that. With this high transparency, we are able to achieve a class-leading efficiency up to 10%, though it's slightly less than the conventional solar panels. However, the larger area solar glass deployments easily beats the amount of electricity generated when compared to the conventional solar glass from any typical commercial or residential building. Solar glass is made from highly innovative materials that are resistant to degradation. We have added a noise reduction technology to make solar glass a perfect candidate for windows and glass roof applications. And this also suits high noise environments. We additionally offer a layer of insulation film that could help maintain the indoor temperature up to 30% longer than compared to the average window glass. Solar glass is designed to replace conventional building glass in windows, rooftops, skylights, facades. It can help asset management companies and developers like your company to construct sustainable carbon neutral buildings at an affordable cost. I will now invite Hind, our marketing manager, to explain use cases that is fit your needs and aspirations.
Yeah, so as opposed to the traditional silicon or organic solar panels, solar glass provides energy while keeping the same visual aspects of buildings. More than that, it protects from wind, insects, gives nice views of the outside, but also generates energy simultaneously. So why would you choose solar glass? Energy is getting more expensive recently due to the high electricity demand as more people work from home and spend more time indoors because of the pandemic. And it is also due to the aging infrastructure, capacity constraints, and increasing taxes. Solar glass also helps reducing greenhouse gas emissions as it does not involve any of the responsible gases and only relies on solar energy. In terms of benefits, solar glass guarantees heat insulation and lowers air conditioning and heating energy consumption in buildings. It protects from noise, and since one of your projects is near a highway, which brings a lot of noise to the building, this would be a huge advantage. Solar glass also ensures ultraviolet protection. It absorbs those rays as well as near-infrared rays and converts them into electricity. And finally, it conserves the same visual aspect of buildings as there is no need for rooftop installing. Solar glass simply replaces regular glass and creates energy from all those surfaces. And now Yalikon is going to explain the technology behind this.
Okay, when we talk about the multifunctional system of this excellent product, the core of our new technology is actually called luminescent solar concentrator. Behind its advanced design, there is a lot of hard work of our R&D team because this seemingly transparent device is actually composed of a multi-layer structure. To achieve the effect of having a multi-layer structure and the same permeability as regular glass, it must be adapted to the best solution in the multi-field nature of science. So the way that this works is gonna capture the ultraviolet and the near-infrared parts of the solar spectrum, which is also called the UV light and NIR light mentioned in the picture. And that infrared light gets guided by the anti-reflective coating to the edge of the glass where we mount very thin strips of solar cells. That's gonna convert energy into electricity. It means with much bigger windows with the transparent solar cells, we are gonna be able to power the whole building. And at the meanwhile, the building will look exactly how you want the building to look. And you won't even know that the solar technology is even there. Most importantly, it can be retrofit onto old buildings. We have the ability to not only integrate it during the window manufacturing process, but we can also make laminates where we can retrofit from the inside of the building. And so this type of technology allows us to really think about new constructions as well as existing constructions. And now I will turn it over to our financial manager, Sammy, to explain more financial details.
Thank you, Yalikon, for all the details, technical information you offer. Actually, I'm talking now about the takeaways that we can take from this product. First, we can produce up to 227,000 kilowatt hour for a mid-sized building, similar to most of your building across Canada. Also, we offer you a cost recovery in the first 5 years of installation and operations. Moreover, we offer you 10 years free maintenance warranty. This can be extended to extra 2 years, so the overall warranty could be 12 years. Also, we guarantee that there will be a reduction of heat costs on a range of 10% to up to 15% and an average of 12.5%. The noise level reduction will be at least 3 dB, and there will be a reduction in the greenhouse gas emission of about 40%. Next. And here's our project recommendations. Actually, what we recommend is that we get an acceptance to your offer by the beginning of September, okay? And we study actually 50 of your buildings across Canada, and we find that you have now 5 building under constructions. 2 of them are very good candidates to start with. So we are offering you a demonstrations on your existing building. This can be extended from September to December this year. And starting from January next year, 2022, we can start building our product into your tower in Toronto, the one under constructions in Dundas Square. And this can be started in January, right away, January 2021. And by the way, this can offer you a reduction in the carbon tax of up to 40%, starting from the fiscal year, which I believe start in October 2021. So you can get the advantage of the reduction in carbon tax, which offered by the government of Canada. And if there's other negotiation, we can negotiate about all the details. Then we can, as I mentioned before, finalize the contract by the end of September and start the work. Thank you for listening, and we are open for discussions and extra questions. Thank you.
Peter, would you like to make the first question first, sir?
Well, I'm having trouble having a question. Every time I thought of one, it got answered by the people who were speaking.
Dang.
So,
do you want me to ask some questions then?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not quite sure who this should be addressed to. Please work it out amongst yourselves. But how long does this stuff last? Once it's up on the side of a building, getting blasted by the sun, 6, 8, 10, 12, maybe even 14 hours a day, is there a life for this amazing glass?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, Jelly can go ahead.
Anyone can answer. I can answer. The expected life, Professor, is about 20 years, actually. That's why
based on what, Sami?
A lot of our studies in the lab, actually. We implement a lot of studies.
You've subjected the glass to the radiation. And then what happens after 20 years? Is it a sudden drop off? Does it begin to tail off? Does it tail off evenly over the whole of the 20 years? I'm an engineer.
There could be significant scratches actually on the glass, which require replace them actually in 20 years.
No, where do the scratches come from?
Significant scratches, and perhaps Yalikon can elaborate.
After 20 years, actually.
Hang on, stop. I'm not talking about scratches. I'm talking about the chemical makeup of the building, which Yalikon explained so beautifully. Does that chemical and physical structure break down in any way for getting scratches?
Good question. And like what I said, it is multi-layer structure, and one or two part is like a partially layers should be replaced after 20 years of working. And that layers included electricity wires, included its chemical components. After that, it's like a partial. It's not have to be. We have no need to be tear glasses. And
go back to the point of my question, which didn't get answered just now. I'm sure you will. I'd like to know, what is the graph of degradation? Do I get exactly the same amount of power per solar power for 20 years and then just stops, or does it go down evenly over 20 years? Or does it get to 15 years and then drop over the last 5 years? That's pretty important to me when I'm trying to put together a cost-benefit analysis. Go on, just make something up, Yalikun. Somebody make something up.
We have the graph actually, Professor, but it's not with us. We can deliver it to you shortly after the meeting.
That's all I need. Thank you. That's perfect.
And what I want to tell you that there is a degradation and the efficiency of 2% each year.
Okay? That's what I like.
This degradation is linear.
So it's linear. That's lovely. Thank you, Sami. You're a good man. I've got a second question if Peter doesn't have one.
Excuse me, please. It is linear, but in the last few years. So it is fair to assume that it will be perfectly functioning for like 15 years. And then between 15 and 5, it might start degrading a little bit, but it will still be functioning well.
I love engineers. I love engineers. That's why I do this job. Thank you for that, Hind. That's a great answer. And of course, that turns directly into numbers in my spreadsheet. My other question is, how much does it cost? Because I've seen lots of benefits. I've seen cost benefit analysis, percentages here, but I don't think I've actually seen a price per square foot or a price per 50,000 square foot building. Are there any prices in this presentation I've missed?
Yeah, Professor. The price of a mid-sized building like the one you have in Toronto downtown, which we expected to start with, is about 400,000.
So did I miss
Canadian.
it? Did I miss it, or did you not put it in the presentation?
Uh,
Did you
you
mention?
miss it. I think you miss it maybe.
Could you show
Because
me
we
the slide
say-
that I missed?
No.
Can you show me the
Yeah,
slide?
we have the slide, Professor. The slide number, I think 8 or 9. We have the chart of cost. Yeah, this one, the cost. So it's 10 cents per kilowatt hour.
There's
And
no
here's
price on there. I can't see anything saying $400,000 for my.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not in our slide, but we have relayed the info to your technical.
Okay, so I just
Yeah.
begins to turn into a teaching point. That I
Yeah.
like. You've got to put a price on there, guys. Peter,
Yeah.
you got a question, mate?
So I'm very interested in the project. So I'm the guy who has to get things done, and so I just want to know. You've got these 2 buildings that are ready to go, and you feel that we can get them equipped if we make the decision now. So they can be equipped for January and start to get the carbon tax benefits. Is there anything in terms of mounting this glass? Clearly, it has to be all wired up to something. So is there anything about the project that will represent a potential risk that the building could be delayed in delivery to tenants as compared to just putting glass on the outside of it versus having all of these panels wired up?
Maybe
Yeah.
I can answer that question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Professor, the building in Toronto, which we have chosen as the first project, we studied that the project timelines for that your commitment to deliver the building. So that's why we suggested that by January it will be in a phase that where you will start installing Windows glass.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have that inventory available in our in factories also, plus the warehouse where we can ship it and meet the demand without delaying any schedule for your project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have experts of your own on site with my people while we're doing the installation?
Yes, we will definitely support them fully. It will be part of the project.
Okay.
Secondly, as Sami mentioned, that if we are able to finalize this in September, then it's really ideally fit in our own schedules. We have some other projects later next year.
Yeah.
So that will be a ideal that if we are able to finalize that early, so that we can
Okay.
support you with the best timelines we have here.
Perfect. So I tell you what, you meet with our EA, set up a meeting before the end of this week so Trevor and I can sign the papers. We want to go ahead. We'll do those 2 buildings and get the papers for the 2 buildings as 2 projects of interest. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll only sign on one condition, Imran.
Please.
Is that you send me that JPEG that's behind you. I really want your green screen. All right, is that a deal? You'll get an extra point.
It will be in your inbox in 10 minutes.
Good man. I was trying to find you on LinkedIn, but there are so many people called Mohammed Imran Gill. I just gave up.
Oh, okay, yeah. I will request for connection. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, smashing. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that the pace of that presentation was good. I had it down for a little over 10 minutes, but I don't have any concerns with the pace. I thought your timing was good. Did anybody get the time? Sarthak?
Yeah, I got the time. I started the time just as the moment started presenting, and the time is 9 minutes 30 seconds.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll give you my comments first, and then Professor Wilkins. And I thought that it's interesting how much progress you guys have made with this presentation. All of your deliveries were very clear, well-paced. The fact that you did it in less than 10 minutes. And I didn't see any rambling or going off the agenda. I saw a lot of ideas that developed very nicely. Clarity of speaking, good tonality. You're all trying to speak a little bit like an announcer quality voice, that kind of thing, and good energy, which I like, and people are smiling and relaxing. And in terms of smiling and relaxing, by the way, I want to just mention at one point in the questioning, Yalakun was trying to deal with what challenges brought up were brought up by Professor Wilkins, and he said, "Good question," which gave him a couple of seconds to think, and then he started answering it. So Trevor's shaking his head. So anyway, let me add a couple of comments. There are some things that you could do better, and so basically your handoffs were good all the way from Momen through Muhammad, Hind, Yalakun, Sami. However, in many cases, the handoff wasn't picked up by the person doing the picking up. So I heard, and I made these notes of things where Hind, for example, was all of a sudden the speaker, and she said, "Yeah." So the right thing to say in a case like that is, "Thank you, Mohammed," and now right? So handoffs involve a diplomacy, which you've got to keep in mind, and eventually this is just going to get instinctive with you that you always want to do that. And so
Peter, can I just say, because I was going to say this later on, but it's the right time to say it. There are 4 stages to a handover. I know that because I've just been writing a video about it this afternoon. First stage of the handover is to conclude what you're saying. You never just stop talking. You give a chunked up summary. The second thing is a pause. We call it a PFR, pause for reflection. I've heard you talk, tell stories, show pictures, come to summarize, then you pause. Let me go, "Oh yes, okay, I've got it." Then the third phase, you say, "Okay, now you've heard about the money, I'm going to hand you over to our operations director to tell you what you're going to experience." And then the fourth phase is when the person whom has been handed over says, "Thank you, Peter. Appreciate your views on the money. Let me tell you how it's really going to work." Do you see how that using those 4 steps, especially with the pause for reflection? And I had it down, 2 people went blah, 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 and then they handed over. And I just didn't have a chance to really reflect on what you said. Now, a PFR need be no more than 2 seconds. Even 1.5 seconds may be enough. It takes quite a lot of experience to do a 3-second PFR, but you need to consciously do it. Summarize what you said, pause for reflection, pass it over, and then reflect back as it's handed over to you. That's it. Sorry. I just finished doing a lecture on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, this is great. Trevor and I like to throw out ideas that are going to be useful in your life and careers, and I think that's a great one. That whole 4-step handoff. So I want to just add one other thing that I have in my notes. In a couple of cases, there were some really nice transitions that for especially the latter part of the presentation for Yalakun. I like the way you talked about the technology, Yalakun.
Thank you.
It sounded so real and so authentic, and I'm thinking, is this real? Anyway, the point is that the discussion of technology could have been really complicated, but it was presented with some nice simple visuals and some nice wording. And there was a nice transition. This is what I'm trying to say, from technical issues to the buyer context. That this lesson that we've talked about how there should be a chain of reasoning, that if you have this particular feature, then it can help you with this, and by having this, you can have the benefit or the result, and the result is going to give you a takeaway. And so at the end of for Yalakun and Sami. Actually, for Hind as well, Yalakun and Sami, I had this feeling that you were moving to takeaways very nicely through the course of that, and so that was great. To go back a little bit, one of the things I didn't, this is a potential weakness area, the story. I didn't quite get clearly where the story was in terms of T2. So I actually made a note that it could have been the chart on windows of energy, which was general.
There was no story. There was no story.
Okay, so that's
Does anybody think they told a story that we could relate to? Go on, defend yourself, Simon.
There was no story, no.
Oh, was that a specific decision you made to miss out one of the steps?
Yeah, I think we had enough info to do
Okay,
it.
shall I tell you the story you should tell? Because because I'm very heavily into solar energy. It's one of my things. So I was really interested in what you're doing. And there's a story that is just crying out to be told. And that is the story. Remember, you can make up a story. And you make up a story about the fact that there's this building and the sun is beating down on it all day. And you have a friend who calculated that the number of watts of energy that was being introduced to a building was this. But then, of course, they were using 1.5 times that number of watts to cool the bloody building because it was getting so hot. What a completely crazy bit of thermodynamics. And that actually that inspired you to realize that actually all that solar energy that was heating up the building and then being cooled again could be completely short-circuited and away you go. And that's the story I wanted to hear, because that's what everything you're talking about is doing. It's about the fact you
Can I say something, Professor? Can I say something?
Go.
Like we try to make a genius way on presenting this way. So we split the story with two people, Hind and Mu'min. So Mu'min was talking about the story of the company, and he, I think, successfully delivered a lot of things about the company and about the team members and our expertise. But if you look carefully about what Hind say, it's part of the story. So we split the story to two individuals. That was our strategy.
This is not done for anything else other than the fact that I am not trying to go with a schedule because I'm teaching it. I didn't feel sucked into this. Now, luckily, I am very heavily into what you were talking about, so I didn't need a story. But somebody coming into this completely blank, who knows nothing whatsoever, needs to be sucked into it. And I'm just saying to you, you may have made the decision because you couldn't make up a story. Good job, good decision. So you did make the decision because you couldn't come up with a story. But you just need to think about how you can get the person on the other side of the table thinking about it. You're obviously all into this. I am, but maybe Peter Fillmore is not. And so you've got to suck him into it. That's why we do the story. It's not for some academic reason. It's to get everybody onto the page. That's all I'm saying. That's enough on the story. But I certainly felt this is something, we're all engineers. But if there's some geeky finance person who knows nothing whatsoever about engineering, you've got to get them into this whole thermodynamic thing, which is what it's all about. Peter, what do you think about what I say, sir?
I agree. Very good comments. So you have all of you on the team. You have our feedback and our comments.
I haven't given any feedback yet.
Oh, oh yeah, that's right. You're commenting on my feedback. All right. Yeah. So I've finished my feedback. I'll let Trevor give his.
Okay. First of all, it's really, really good. Really one of the best ones I've seen for a long time. I thought the way you spoke, the way the whole thing was done with when I give feedback, it's always the little bits around the edges that turn it from pretty damn good to perfect. All right. So this is a pretty damn good one. So everything here, don't defend it. Don't take it to heart. Just say, oh yeah, that's a good point. I'll do that next time. So a few things. First of all, Momin, when you started off the thing, you talked about the team. I love the way that you explained all the backgrounds. There were people in the team who had done the development, people who'd done the original research. That was lovely. Take one more step and say, Hind is our genius who came up with the thermodynamics. And Mohammed is the guy who made the electronics work. When you tell these little stories about how good your team is, it's really important for people to be sucked into identifying with them. So it was really good and would be even better if you took those things and made little stories about it. What have I got down here? Yes, we talked about the handover. Mohammed, you just went straight from lovely talking, really good stuff, but you handed straight over. And I was thinking, oh yeah, carbon neutral, that's cool. And suddenly we're on to something else. So you've made some very good points. And I just go back to that point. Hind, a little bit more on carbon neutral. I mean, I felt that you covered that as one of a list of points. We are all here trying to save the world for my grandchildren, please, because I'm not sure they've got a very good chance. And I think that what you're doing is very, very important on the saving the world thing. And I think maybe you could have hit that more. The world is changing just in the last 5 years. And you are of a generation that can actually do something about it. So let's jolly well stick it up in front. That actually, one of the most important things about this building is that it will be carbon neutral. That's what my professor's grandchildren need, all right? So I think that was nice. Yellowkun, you were fantastic. I've never heard anyone, not never, but it's been a long time since I've heard anybody speak so clearly. Peter made the point about sounding like an announcer. It wasn't as more than that. It was just really nice. The only thing that would have made it even better was two things. You needed a build. The data that you had on the screen, I don't know why people don't use builds, but as you speak, I heard these wonderful words. I wasn't really looking at the screen, but if there were points coming up, actually, I can't remember the points that you had. Oh yes, that's right. It was all your lovely optical stuff. So the point about the optics is that that's really interesting. You told a smashing story, and you should have built it. You should have built the layers in. The first layer does this, the second layer does this, and then it goes backwards and it does, because I was struggling. I was turning my head sideways. I was trying to, because I'm a geeky engineer. And I think if you just built that and flown in each layer, it would have been easy for a dumbass like me to understand. So you were speaking so beautifully that the visuals didn't quite match what you were saying. And the other one, you spoke about percentages, I think on your next slide. When I see percentages of increase in print, yes, 83% of energy, 12.5% reduction, with respect to what? All right.
To regular glass, Professor. Regular glass.
You know, and whenever, this is a general point, whenever you talk about any improvement, reduction in cost, improvement in performance, it's like you're seeing these terrible, you know, this bread is 15% better for you. 15% better than what? And it's very important. And if you go and do the sales camp, we spend a lot of time talking about what we call comparators, because comparators can either completely bring people in which case they're a bit dumb because they didn't realize the comparator was missing, or like me, they say, but 15% of what? So give yourself a break. You had some lovely data there. Just say all of our figures are based on standard figures that are available from Canada Energy Centre or something like that. And then you can always go back there. So, but that was smashing, Yellowcon. I really enjoyed listening to you. Sammy, lovely finish. You didn't try and close me on some sale. It was very clear. And I love the fact that you presented the project recommendations. I'm a big fan of project recommendations. And again, on Sales Camp, that's what we do. We don't talk about closing sales. The other thing I would say, you had on your slide takeaways, which of course was one of my little words. But I actually think I would use on that slide, I would say, what's in it for you? This is the Swiffham slide, isn't it? If this slide had been called What's in it for you, I think this would have been nice. This is all the stuff that I'm going to get if I invest in your product. So it's just a matter of picking the right words. Takeaways is a perfectly nice word. We use it all the time. But I think what's in it for you, and I've seen students use that a lot, and it works very well.
Professor, I have a question. If I put your takeaways, is it better or no? Your takeaways. No?
Your takeaways would have been better, but I think so what's in it for you is nice and blunt, very clear. And I've seen big, expensive, serious, not playing at it as students' presentations that use literally that. So what's in it for you? They don't tend to use the word Swiffham because I kind of made that one up, but or Swiffy and Swift and all the different versions we have there. But your takeaways would be a kind of in the middle. Yeah, cool. But really, we're talking about the little bits around the edges of a very fine presentation. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Professor, thank you very much.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Professor. I must just say, I love the way that you've been to my company. You discovered about our projects. You'd found out what we were doing, that 2 out of the 5 were good candidates just in time for the Toronto Towers in January. That really got me. Going back to that story thing, I felt sucked in. I know about the Toronto Tower. I'm the big sponsor of that thing. I went and found the site and I negotiated a really good deal of the people who did them. This turns me on. That's really personal. And I go back to my point about the story. That was cool. Peter, I've stopped yapping.
Okay, so guys, now we're pressed a bit for time.
Wow, aren't we? Yes.
Since we've got another group at 8:30.
Go away, everyone.
If you have any one last question before you go, then I have to ask you to depart the meeting, knowing that you did a great job and thanking you so much for it. And any other questions? And of course, if you don't have one right now, send me a message later.
Sure.
All right, we're good to go. So thank you all.
Thank you.
You guys sign out and we're going to evaluate and then we're going to bring the next team in.
Thank you.